one can stop the clock. Both teams are out of timeouts. 1:37 left in the ball game. You know, we're talking about the AFC Central off next week. But then Cincinnati goes to Pittsburgh, goes to Cleveland. They're home against Dallas. They tied with Kansas City for the toughest schedule in the NFL. And that's not good news when you're 0-5. Neal down. Well, this was an inept second half offensively for Cincinnati. As you look back at this, fumble, interception, interception, fumble, interception. For the year now, Klingler has suffered 9. 3 here tonight.
Only one drive in the second half with as many as 8 plays.
They started the game out in great fashion.
Sure did.
With a 7-0 lead on their first drive, 51-yard touchdown pass. 38 seconds left. Marino will go to a knee again, and that'll do it. So Don Shula, 331 wins for the 64-year-old man. As he meets his son Dave, still looking for his first victory this season, now goes to 0-5. It's like a press conference going on now as the two of them try just to get out and give each other a hug. Well, we expect to have both Shulas on our stadium show as Don Shula, picking up the victory, now moves to 4-1. We'll be back. Some final thoughts in just a moment. Final score, the Miami Dolphins 23, the Cincinnati Bengals 7. For my partner Pat Haden, this is Gary Bender reminding you to join us next week for 2 NFL games on TNT. Sunday night, we travel to Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, where the Washington Redskins take on the Eagles. To do those interviews, highlights also from tonight's game. Ernie Johnson in our studios in Atlanta, bringing you all the action from week number 5. That's coming up next here on TNT.
Back to Riverfront Stadium for the Stadium Show, post-game.
There's a sign here at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati from a Dolphins fan that says Bernie is God. Well, not exactly God, but he's a pretty good player. On this touchdown pass to Mark Ingram, the Dolphins took the lead that they would never relinquish. 17-7. They go on to get the win by a score of 23-7. And the Dolphins now go into undisputed first place in the AFC East with the Buffalo Bills losing today. And for the second consecutive year under Dave Shula, the Cincinnati Bengals go to 0-5. 5 turnovers in the second half. And LT, I've covered football for a long time, the NFL and college too, and looked at teams. And when teams are going south, when they're having it go bad, they seem to be waiting for something bad to happen. We saw that in the second half here tonight with Cincinnati.
Well, we've been through many years of that, like that with the Giants. You know, that's when you get into that don't embarrass me mode. The guys are looking for ways to not to lose and rather than ways to win. And that's the problem right now.
Kevin?
Well, as I look at this team, as I look at the Cincinnati Bengals, one date stands out in my mind. That's August 5th, 1991. That's the day that Paul Brown died. And Paul Brown, of course, was the founder of the franchise. Mike Brown's father. He was the football mind in this franchise. The 3 years before he died, this team was 29-19. They went to the Super Bowl in 1988. They were 12-4 in the regular season. Since the death of Paul Brown, this team has been 11-42. Something's missing here. I think Mike Brown needs some help.
A lot of talk in the local media about the Cincinnati Bengals needing more help to literally share the load to manage this team. Mike Brown does everything from negotiate stadium contracts to player personnel, everything else. He may even be coming to that agreement as this team is 0-5. And speaking of losing, who would have expected the loss in San Francisco today to the Philadelphia Eagles? Well, Ernie probably had an inkling about this. Ernie Johnson?
I had no inkling. In fact, I thought the Niners would win it big. Didn't happen. The Philadelphia Eagles picked a great time to play an almost perfect game. A visit to San Francisco to meet the Niners. Philly didn't turn the ball over, forced 3 Niner turnovers, held them to just 189 yards of offense, and had a rookie running back rush for over 100 yards. Add them all up, and you get Eagles 40, Niners 8. Candlestick Park to sight. First period, 7-0 Eagles. And Steve Young wants to go to the air. Boy, he's only 11 out of 23 for 99 yards with 2 interceptions on the day. Here's one of them. Eric Allen on the tip. And the Eagles will immediately turn that into points. On the very next snap, it is Charlie Garner, the rookie out of Tennessee. 111 yards on 16 carries. He missed the preseason with a rib injury. In his debut, he goes 100+. More Eagle D. They're all over Steve Young for a sack in the end zone and a safety. 16-0, and the Eagles are just getting warm. Randall Cunningham on the roll to the air. Victor Bailey's down there for a 23-0 Philadelphia lead. Yeah, shaking your head is right. 40-8, the Eagles over the Niners, the worst home loss for San Francisco since 1967 at Kezar Stadium when the Lions beat them 45-3. Which brings us to the Coca-Cola monsters of the gridiron, and I'll give you a hint. This week's winner, you just saw him a couple of seconds back, Randall Cunningham. What a day he had in the 40-8 dismantling of San Francisco. Rocket Randall throws 20 out of 29 for 246 yards, a couple of touchdown passes, no interceptions, and cracks the 20,000-yard mark in career passing yardage. Next week, we're going to see the Philadelphia Eagles right here on TNT as they play host to the Washington Redskins. Washington got its debut today from Heath Shuler, and it wasn't pretty. You'll see it a little bit later. Let's go back to Bob.
Okay, Ernie, that NFC East is really interesting now. The Giants, Dallas, and Philadelphia all 3-1. Who'd have thunk it would be in that order, particularly at this point in the season this early. In just a moment, we're going to come back here to the stadium show at Riverfront Stadium. Dan Marino, who threw for 2 touchdown passes tonight and once again exhibited his leadership abilities, will join us.
The Stadium Show post-game is brought to you by Peerless Faucet. Sensibly innovative faucet designs for your kitchen and bath. Get more out of your faucet than just water.
Get ready for the season with Fall Car Care Days at Napa, where you'll find quality Napa parts at low prices. Right now, Napa halogen headlights are as low as $4.99. Champion resistor spark plugs are only 69 cents after mail-in rebate. And assorted Napa Car Care products are just $1.29 each. So pull into your nearest Napa Auto Parts store soon for Fall Car Care Days.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
A bowling ball, a pineapple, a birthday cake, a Nokia cellular phone. One of these objects would make it easier for me to juggle my schedule.
He's a juggler. You're not. Pick up a Nokia cellular phone to help you juggle your schedule. Nokia, largest European cellular phone manufacturer, now in America.
With Goodyear Certified Auto Service, the job's done one way.
Right way!
Get the best selection of Goodyear tires anywhere. Goodyear trained ASE Certified technicians. And the savings you want.
Right now!
Save big on Goodyear Auto Service, including 20% off 2-wheel front disc brake service. If you want to save, you want to see Goodyear.
You want it, you got it.
Right way, right here, right now.
With Goodyear Certified Auto Service.
You'll notice here at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati that most of our stadium show crowd here has on Miami Dolphins jerseys. They've been chanting, "We want Danny," and you got Danny. Dan Marino threw for 2 touchdown passes tonight. a conservative 204 yards, but a very effective game at quarterback, a ball control game, and a 23-7 win. Dan, first question to you is, the lead up to this, all the hype in the media all week is Don and Dave, Don and Dave. How did you respond to that, and how did your team feel about that coming in? How did you handle it?
I think as players, we really didn't concern ourselves that much with it. We knew it was a part of the big hype for this ball game. And Coach Shula did not talk about it one time during the week in front of any team meetings or talk about it at all to the players. So we knew we had a job to do, was come in here and win. And that's what as far as the players, that's how we looked at it.
Did you sense, Dan, did you sense any difference in Coach Shula? Was he a little tighter? Do you think inside, I know you know him well, do you think it bothered him?
The amazing thing about Coach Shula is he doesn't change no matter what the circumstances are. He's always the same. That's the one thing you can count on him, is being the same week in and week out. And he didn't really change much this week. But I know he probably feels good and real good about the fact that his son was coaching the other team.
I got a real good look at you out there from the sideline. I usually see you on television. A pronounced limp. Seem like you do throw off your front foot. I understand you use the bike. They tell me you're in the best shape of your life, although you're not 100%. You're not 100% with the leg. Does it affect your throwing motion at all?
Not really. I've always been a guy that just throws a little bit off balance sometimes in the pocket, but my legs don't feel as good as I want them to. But I think that just is going to come with time. As the more I work on them, the better they'll get.
Well, Dan, 26 for 35, 204 yards, 2 touchdowns. Good numbers for any other quarterback, but certainly not the Dan Marino type of numbers. Did they do anything different that keep you off balance?
They did a little bit as far as trying to get big plays. We couldn't really get some big plays on them, but for us, we just wanted to be consistent. You know, we did what we had to do. At the end, you know, we were up. The defense was playing so well, we didn't really have to throw the ball anymore. Just try to work on our running game, and the offensive line did a really good job all the way around. And for me, I was just trying to be consistent and run the show out there.
You trying to say you took it easy on Daddy's little boy?
No. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
Next week, Buffalo, were you looking ahead at all? Because I know it's a big game, particularly now with the lead in the AFC East.
Well, the thing in the NFL, you got to play. I know it's a cliche, but you got to play each game. You can't go out there and make mistakes. And tonight we had a good football game. We won the game. Now we'll look to Buffalo next week, and that's a big game for us. And the good thing is we're up 2 games in our division right now.
Okay, I have one final question for you that's a little personal, but just bear with me on this. How many strokes do you get from LT when you play?
I play him even. But not for a long time now.
Danny Marino had a great night tonight, 23-7. The Dolphins get the victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's go back to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta.
Thank you very much, Bob. The New York Giants came into Week 5 as the NFC's only unbeaten team, but they left the Superdome in New Orleans as one of 3 teams in the conference with 1 loss, and they're all in the NFC East. Giants and the Saints at the Superdome in New Orleans. Dan Reeves. His guys are up 13-3, but not for long. Jim Everett has Quinn early, all by his lonesome. The lead is cut to 13-10, and then late in the first half, the New Orleans defense puts points on the board. Right into the midst of James Williams was that Dave Brown pass, and New Orleans up 17-13. The Giants hurt themselves late. 27-13, they're down in the 4th, but still in this game. Chris Callaway is interfered with, so the Giants should have the ball down there inside the 5. But Callaway's up, and he spikes, and that's unsportsmanlike, they say, and the play is nullified to bring it all the way back. New Orleans hangs on for a 27-22 win over the Giants first loss, and Dan Reeves wanted to talk about that unsportsmanlike call.
You call something like that, you better make sure you know exactly what you're talking about. And I saw it on the replay. I did not think he threw the ball at the guy. And what I saw on the replay, the guy's laying to his left, and he spikes the ball to the right. Now, he shouldn't have spiked the ball, I agree. If you take the excitement out of the game, I don't know what you got. And Chris was excited. He had gotten interfered with. He still caught the pass. Puts us in position down to score, and then to have that call back is a big-time call.
The Giants fall to 3-1. Barry Switzer's Cowboys are also 3-1. Norv Turner facing his old team, and it wasn't pretty. Emmitt Smith, his second touchdown of the day, makes it 14-0 Cowboys. Heath Shuler got the start for Washington. 11 out of 30, 96 yards, sacked a couple of times. Charles Haley was in his face all day, and it was around his ankles that trip. In the second period, Emmitt Smith pulled a hamstring, left the game. You go to the backup, Lincoln Coleman. You want to see a tough run for 6. He is going to gather some folks up. but never stopped those legs. And the pile moves toward the goal line, and there is Lincoln Coleman for a touchdown and a 31-0 Dallas lead. It ends 34-7. The Cowboys are 3-1. The Redskins fall to 1-4. Nicole Watson was there. She got the post-game thoughts of Emmitt Smith.
After a disappointing loss against the Lions just a couple of weeks ago, and Barry Switzer saying that the Dallas Cowboys were not focused, they come up with a win here in RFK Stadium, led by, believe it or not, this gentleman who scored 2 touchdowns in the first half, but you left with a strained hamstring. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and you know, the hamstring is feeling okay. It's not 100%, but you know, we got a couple days for the next game, and we're going to treat it and see what happens from now on.
You've had to take more of a leadership role this year. Is that something that you've done willingly or because there was a void?
Not really. I don't think I had to take more of a leadership role. I think everybody on our team have taken the initiative to step up and step their game up and take everything up to another level. I feel like we have a number of leaders on our squad, and in order for it would be mighty selfish of myself to say I've been able to step up my game and take on a leadership role when so many guys on our squad that are definitely taking on the leadership role.
2 touchdowns today and a win for the Cowboys. Congratulations, Emmitt.
Thank you.
And Emmitt goes up against the Cardinals next week. 2 weeks ago, the Chicago Bears got embarrassed at home. The Vikings punished them 42-14. That was then, and this is now. The Bears are 3-2 and tied for the NFC Central lead after back-to-back wins. They stifled Jim Kelly and the Bills, and you talk about a great catch. Check this out.
Walsh backpedals, flips, steps up now, throws the middle of the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago, and a sensational catch by Chris Gedney.
Bears on top 7-3. Third period, Jim Kelly, a rough day, 19 out of 33 for 116 and 2 INTs, but Pete Metzelaars for 6 and a 13-10 Bills lead. Early in the fourth, a 4th down, and Wanstead says go, and the Bears do, and Steve Walsh sneaks it in, and the Bears have won 2 straight. They beat the Bills 20-13. Both teams are 3-2. And when the Stadium Show postgame continues, you're going to hear from the Shulas, father and son, when we come back.
When I got Dave a new electric shaver, I didn't know if he'd like it. But I shouldn't have worried, because I selected the Wall Custom Shave System. Wall gives you a choice: sensitive, close, or super close. First, Dave tried the sensitive foil. He liked it. Then he used the close foil. Smooth. Sometimes Dave prefers the super close foil when he wants to be really close. So whether your man's tender or tough, the Wall Custom Shave System, the shaver of choice.
Whoever said, into each life some rain must fall, never lived under our shingles. Owens Corning. We make the difference. This evacuation vehicle is not protected by a 70,000-mile warranty. It's protected by a glass fiber that's stronger than steel. Owens Corning. We make the difference.
I dream of having a house with a fabulous stone fireplace.
And a marble bath with a jacuzzi.
A cathedral ceiling, a big rolling lawn.
A small lawn.
Small?
I hate to mow.
Okay, then a wraparound deck with a
Beautiful lake view.
Oh, wait, and it's tucked away on a quiet country road.
Yeah, but how are we going to find it?
Through Houlihan Lawrence, we've been helping people find the right home for over 100 years. Houlihan Lawrence. If you can dream it, we can find it.
Hey, Kathy, what's up? Hi, Lori. You're not going to believe this. I just spent hours going back and forth to the pharmacy, as if I have the time. Then they weren't sure they had the medication. And after waiting forever, they tell me they won't accept my prescription card. Same thing happened to me. Now I go to Stony Point Pharmacy. Stony Point Pharmacy fills my prescriptions while I wait. They accept my prescription card, and the pharmacists are always available to answer any questions.
Not just any pharmacy, Stony Point Pharmacy.
Majestic Kitchens, the area's leader in style, service, and value for 32 years, invite you to Westchester's largest showroom. Stroll through 2 floors and 42 displays featuring some of today's top names. See beautiful kitchens in wood and Formica by Les Care, America's leading manufacturer of frameless cabinets. Come save at our October open house sale. Get store-wide discounts and manufacturer's price incentives. Majestic Kitchens, Tarrytown Road, White Plains.
A moving scene at the end of this ball game, the first time in professional sports history. Father coaching against son. Don Shula's Dolphins beating the Bengals of Dave Shula 23-7 here. And Don, I know you have 331 victories now, and you have, we counted it up. You've beaten over your career 222 different coaches. I have a feeling you enjoyed all of them, but maybe not this one quite so much.
Well, the thing that you can't ever let take over is emotion in this business, and you know, it's our football team against Dave's football team, and that's the important thing. My responsibility is to get our team back on track. We lost a tough one last week to Minnesota, and we needed this one, and I know that Dave needed it bad too, but you know, that you just can't let your own personal feelings or emotions enter into it.
I'd like to get your feeling about it and then have Dave talk about what happened. Minute 23 into the ball game, I have a feeling this was as loud as Riverfront has been in a while. Minute 23, 50-yard touchdown pass. What went through your mind when that happened so fast?
I knew that they were very capable from looking at the tapes of the games that they played. We beat New England by 3 points in a shootout. New England beats them by 3 points in a shootout. So you knew that this team could score some points, and they got after us early. They had a couple of screen passes, and then they threw the deep one for the touchdown, and all of a sudden I'm looking up at 7-0, and remembering last week looking up to 28-0. Then they moved it down again and missed the field goal. It hit the crossbar, could have bounced either way. It bounced our way, and so it's a 7-0 lead instead of a 10-0 lead. We got the touchdown right before the half that made us feel a little bit better at halftime.
Dave, on that play, the 50-yard touchdown pass, after it was over, did you in any way look across the field to see if you could catch his eyes?
No, I had to let everybody know whether we're going to go for one or for two, and that's what I knew would happen in the ball game. Once the action began, we kicked off. That, you know, there's so many game time decisions that you have to make. I got completely caught up in that and really never thought about the father-son issue at all during the ball game.
Yeah, going through bringing a team in here that's 0-4, playing against your father, I know there's a lot of particular pressure on you. Now that this game is over, as you look back on it, how did you deal with the internal pressure of it?
I've never felt that it's pressure. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and there's just a lot more attention this week, and done a lot more interviews and talking about the ball game and the potential, you know, the matchup, father-son issue, that kind of a thing. But I thought our players, I know they were excited about the opportunity to play against a great football team and on national television, and we knew we'd have a big crowd, and this was our opportunity to try to gain some national respect, gain some respect in our own home yard here, and get our fans back with us a little bit here, but we weren't able to measure up tonight.
You know, Don, it amazes me when you talk about this is my job and I have to approach it for the team and everything. How do you do that? I know my dad was a postman, and I know if I had to go against him in a post route or whatever, I'd be upset. I'd be nervous. How do you do that? And I get a feeling that maybe you do it better than Dave. You're very stoic, but are you that way all the way through? Can you just control yourself like that?
Well, as Dave said, once the game starts, all of your concentration has to be on your responsibilities. You don't have time to think about anything else. And when you work as hard as we do to get our football team ready to play, you put everything that you have in it, and that's your responsibility. Individuals don't enter into it. I wouldn't want my quarterback, I wouldn't want any of my other players thinking about anything individually. I want them thinking about the team, and they are, and that's why my responsibility is to the team.
And certainly you're familiar with the way he is, and I sense that you are maybe a little bit different. Is there anything about him that you learned growing up that you could use against him while you were coaching against him?
No. Too many analytical questions, Kev.
Yeah, and absolutely nothing. And you might play him again, right? So you want to keep those. So as the game went on and appeared that maybe Miami could have scored again and yet they didn't, was there any feeling that maybe he would or
Can you
not?
tell my body language here about that?
I could see it.
Obviously, they had the game in hand. They kicked the field goal to get them to 16 points, and then at the end of the ball game, we did not have any more timeouts. We could not stop the clock. They could run the clock out without having to run any more plays, and that's all there was to that.
But I can guarantee you this, that after a couple of the takeovers in the third and fourth quarter, we wanted to score and put points on the board, but we couldn't. We didn't take advantage of the opportunities that we had to put points up and to help us put the ball game away. And That was disturbing that we couldn't do that. Cincinnati played good defense, and we didn't get anything from the takeovers that we got until the field goal at the end.
Well, here tonight, 2 out of 3 Shulas in the coaching profession are feeling pretty good tonight. I know Dave's still looking for that first win, but Mike Shula's Bears got a victory. He's a tight end coach there. I figure Mike is probably watching, or you think he's breaking down the film right now?
No, I think Mike might be watching, don't you, Dave?
I'm sure he's enjoying the victory, as he well should.
Just one final question, and that is, you told me, Don, right before, and I want to get both of you just a quick answer to this, if you would. Right before, this was one of the proudest moments for you, to walk out here with your son in the same profession and make history in this father-son. Now that it's over, can you just express your feelings about it?
Well, anytime that you think about, the significance of what happened out there, when you're looking across the field and your son is coaching the other team in the National Football League, that has to be a special moment. It has to be a very proud moment, and it was.
Well, Don and Dave, I know you've got 331. You have 8 victories. We'll be counting yours all the way up too, Dave. And I know you have a bye week next week to lick the wounds and get ready to move on.
Yeah, we'll go back to the drawing board, so to speak, in a lot of ways, and somehow to try to figure out another way to get things turned around.
Appreciate both of you coming out here.
Thank you.
It's a historical moment, and having a couple of sons myself, I know how you must feel about having him across the field. Let's go back now to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta.
And we continue our look at Week 5. Maybe all the Arizona Cardinals needed was a week off. The last time we saw the Buddy Ball act, it was Week 3 in Cleveland. The Browns pasting the Cardinals 32-zip. The prospect of an 0-4 start loomed as Warren Moon and the Vikings came calling, and Dennis Green's guys had won 3 straight as they hit Sun Devil Stadium. It would be tough. Jay Schrader, the 3rd starter at quarterback in 4 games, to Derek Ware in a 7-0 Arizona lead. What a great job the Arizona D did against the Minnesota rushing attack. 18 yards on the day for Terry Allen, who had back-to-back 100 yards plus. Warren Moon did throw for over 300 yards for Minnesota against Buddy Ryan's guys, but defense got to him as well. Eric Hill chasing down number 1 and bringing him down. 4th period, 10-7 Cardinals, and a big play setting up the TD that iced it.
Drops, here comes pressure, one up block, throws upfield, it is Randall Hill!
Jay Schrader on the mark to Randall Hill, and then Larry Centers takes it in from 6 yards away. And the Arizona Cardinals have their first win, 17-7 over the Minnesota Vikings. New life pumped into Buddy Ball. Here's Craig Sager.
His first day on the job, the colorful and controversial Buddy Ryan told the long-suffering Cardinal fans they now had a winner in town. 4 weeks into the season, his words finally rang true. 33-year-old Jay Schrader, a reclamation off the waiver wire, ably directed an offense that had been ranked last in the league under his predecessors, Steve Berline and Jim McMahon.
I just took a matter of personal pride. A lot of people doubted what I could do on the football field, but over my career, I've been able to win a lot of football games, and that's bottom line.
I thought Jay played well, and he can scramble a little bit, and I think he showed today that he's, got the big throw arm, and he's been to some big games before.
Quarterback controversies tend to be bigger than life, but this merry-go-round had been in full spin, and Buddy had been debated and disputed. But those in the media who had been at his throat will now be at his feet, and those in the stands who were swearing at him will now swear by him.
But I don't think we have as many critics out there except in your profession. The fans seem to be all right. They're a big fan group here, and they were all doing the wave, they tell me, and excited about our football team. So all we got to do now is beat a team like Dallas.
There never have been complaints about Buddy's defense. Statistically, the best in the league. They congested the line of scrimmage, grounding Minnesota to just 18 yards rushing, while causing chaos and creating turnovers for Viking quarterback Warren Moon.
There's always room to get better. We don't want to give up as many passing yards as we did today, but when you look at, what they got on the ground, it kind of offsets it a little bit, but at the same time, we still got to get better. I believe that any time that our offense can put 14 to 17 points up on the board early, that we're going to dominate the game defensively.
So a little momentum for the Arizona Cardinals as they head to Dallas next week. And when the Stadium Show postgame continues, the New England Patriots, Drew Bledsoe at it again, 300 yards plus again.
Can't miss TV, one of the best historical sports films ever made.
Join TNT for a special encore presentation of 75 Seasons, the story of the National Football League. Tomorrow, 7 Eastern on TNT.
How would you like to join us in the definitive nightmare?
I thought you killed Freddie off.
They told you he was dead.
And since you've been thinking of making it, has anything funny happened?
For 10 years, he's been held captive as Freddy in the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
And now he's got the last laugh.
What is he doing?
He's decided to cross over out of films into our reality.
Got the effect! Wes Craven's new nightmare.
Miss me?
Rated R. Starts Friday, October 14th.
People ask me to endorse the strangest things. A green recliner? Not much of a sitter. I like going fast. 68 Shelby, and there's only about 300 and some odd made. This car rips. Pure oil now. Keeping them up's half the fun. They all get Pure Later filters. Pure oil later. I snag them from the track. Legends live. Pure Later, Pure Later.
Timex, it takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
When you're driving in the rain, water on the road can make you feel like you're riding on marbles. It gets under your tires and you can lose traction. So, Goodyear created the award-winning AquaTread. Its deep groove aqua channel moves over a gallon of water away per second to help keep more tire in contact with the road for outstanding wet weather traction, especially in braking. The all-season AquaTread, only from Goodyear. We say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Next week, we will join Heath Schuler and the Washington Redskins as they travel to Philadelphia. Washington losing today to Dallas, big. But Philadelphia, who'd have thought that, not me for sure, would be tied for first place with the Giants in Dallas going into week 6 of the season. Randall Cunningham had an exceptional day once again today, and a youngster by the name of Charlie Garner ran for 111 yards for the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles defense played well again. They may be finding an identity. It'll be interesting to see Philadelphia at Veterans Stadium. Stadium show at 7:30. Kickoff at 8 o'clock next week. Hope you'll join us for that here on TNT. And now let's go back to Ernie Johnson for more highlights.
All right, Bob. The storyline in Foxborough today. The Patriots' Drew Bledsoe against the Packers' secondary. Now, Green Bay has faced Warren Moon, Dan Marino, and Randall Cunningham, and the most yards that trio was able to throw for was Cunningham's 204. Bledsoe had gone 300-plus through the air in 3 out of 4 games, leading the NFL in passing yardage. How would he fare against the Green Bay secondary today? We take you to Foxborough. Brett Favre in the second quarter, hooking up with Sterling Sharp, who passes Max McGee on the Packers' all-time touchdown receiving list with number 51. They're up 10-0. Drew Bledsoe really couldn't get it going in the first half. They're down there close in the second quarter, and he is stripped by Bryce Popp from the back door, and the Packers recovered. It wouldn't be until the fourth quarter, really, that New England got it untracked. And then Bill Parcells saw Bledsoe go to work.
Back to throw on first down. He's shooting it to the left side. Open, caught, touchdown, Vincent Brisby.
Bledsoe and Brisby hooked up twice. It's 14-10 Patriots at that point. Late in the game now. Brett Favre on the scramble. Has his eye on the corner and really takes a ride out of bounds, but he's down there to the 1, setting up Reggie Cobb. And the go-ahead score, they're up 16-14. Extra point by Mike Holmgren's guys, but it's not going to happen. Craig Hendrick, the holder, can't find the handle. They never get it off. They're still up by 2, but now a field goal beats you. And New England drives, and Matt Barr, who had missed twice, knuckleballs one right over the bar. And New England has a 17-16 win over Green Bay. The Patriots have won 3 straight, but Bill Parcells says don't get carried away.
I've been through this stuff before, and I know how this roller coaster goes. You know, so I've been on riding in the high car, you know, and then I've been down at the bottom, too. And so, but at least we're not in the dark tunnel right now.
Let us move to the RCA Dome. That is Steve Entman. 2 knee operations, seeing his first action of the season. And a huge play in the first quarter on a third down play as he stuffs Chris Warren, makes the Seahawks settle for a field goal. Later in the first, it's 3-3. Jim Harbaugh in his own end zone. That's intentional grounding. When you throw it from the zone, that's a safety. It is 5-3 Seattle. Still in the first, Marshall Faulk. Is this a reverse? No, he's going to keep it. 5-yard touchdown, 10-5 Colts, 90 yards on the day for Marshall. Rick Meyer and the guys headed down. It's 17-8. Then Meyer gets them right back in it. Kelvin Martin. And Seattle is within 2, 17-15, but the Colts had some huge plays on defense on fourth down in the fourth quarter.
High formation, Colts go K-split, and they come, and they make the sack out at the 42-yard line. Siragusa overpowered the line, and he and Stephen Grant, Barry Meyer, he had no chance to throw the football.
Seattle would still have a shot late in the game. On a 3rd and 10, that is Damon Watts breaking it up. 4th and 10, Damon Watts breaking it up. And Indianapolis hangs on. A 2-point win over Seattle. The final from the RCA Dome as Damon Watts and the guys celebrate 17-15. Seattle falls to 3-2. The Colts are 2-3. In Cleveland these days, they're calling the Browns Team Dynamite for their explosive ability to score and turn games around. And in this week's edition of the Hidden Game, we saw the Browns do what they do best. We go to Cleveland Stadium as the Browns went to 4-1. Eric Metcalf, don't let the guy get outside because he does have wheels. And in the first quarter, you see the situation. And it's Metcalf on the right side, gets the corner and gets gone. 7-0 Browns over the Jets. Second quarter, it's 3rd and 16 for the New York Jets. Boomer Esiason not playing. Jack Trudeau at the helm. And here comes a shot to center field by Trudeau. An overthrow with Eric Turner waiting right there. Makes the pick and brings it back, snuffs out the drive. That wasn't the only time the Browns defense came up big. The Jets are knocking on the door at the Cleveland 29 later in the second quarter. 1st and 5, and Johnny Johnson, the workhorse out of the backfield, had 100 yards last week. Oh, where's the ball? It's popping out, and the Browns are going to smother it. Don Griffin with the recovery, and that led to Cleveland points. On the scoring drive, Vinny Testaverde came up huge. A few weeks ago, he had a 4-interception game, but he's been much better since. No interceptions today. 50-yard hookup with Rico Smith. That set up an Ernest Biner touchdown. Another scoring drive with Leroy Horde in a starring role. 1st and 10 at their own 43. And it's Horde on the receiving end of a Vinny Testaverde pass out of the backfield. Slips a tackle and gets the extra yards. And you want a tough touchdown run on this drive, you're going to see it from number 33. 2nd and 10 at the 18 of the Jets, and Horde will not be denied this trip. Look how many Jets have shots at him right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and nobody's going to bring him down. He backpedals into the zone, and Cleveland 24-0 at the half, easily en route to their 4th win. 27-7 is the final score. The Browns over the Jets. The only downside to that win today for the Cleveland Browns, Tommy Vardell left that game early with a sprained knee. No word yet on how severe that is. But the Browns are 4-1 and rolling, Bob.
No question about it, Ernie. Vinny Testaverde getting great protection from his offensive line. He's making good decisions. He's nearly doubled his quarterback rating since week number 1. He's really had only one bad game this season. It was the game, of course, that the Browns lost. And one of the reasons that the fans are buying tickets, there were 76,000 there today, had 5,000 walk up, is the big plays. I'm telling you that Cleveland is exciting to watch. Week 1, a 92-yard punt return. Week 3, 93-yard interception return. Week 4, 65-yard TD pass. Week 5 versus the Jets, big run. And so when you get down to it, you're getting big plays out of Cleveland. And I mentioned when I started this, one reason Vinny Testaverde's having them is because of that offensive line.
They've done a lot of good things with the offensive line, Bob. As September 6, 1992, Bernie Kosar, then playing with the Cleveland Browns, was sacked 11 times. After that season, they fired the offensive line coach. In 93, they made their #1 pick, Steve Everett, out of Michigan, a center. So they went for the offensive line, and it worked. They hired a new offensive line coach, and things have improved ever since then. And the offensive line, Doug Dawson and Tony Jones and Gene and Wally Williams and Bob Dahl, they did a great job today. And over the last 3 games, which the Browns have won all 3 of those games, they have given up a total of 3 sacks. So let's credit the new offensive line coach, Kirk Ferentz, who's done a great job with the offensive line through injuries and all the tribulations that the Browns have had. Another thing about the defense of the Cleveland Browns, they are second in the NFL or the NFC with 58 points given up. That's the second least amount of points. Bill Belichick is the defensive coordinator. Pepper Johnson has become the emotional leader. Lawrence, you know both of them.
Well, I think it's the big reason why they're second in the NFL. You know, you look at Bill Belichick, his problem has always been dealing with the personalities of the players. You know, it's never been defense. This guy is an excellent, a great defensive coordinator. He knows defense as well as anybody I've ever been around. What makes him great is that he has the answers and has a plan for anything an offense can think of. What makes Pepper Johnson so good is as simple as this. This guy loves to play football. This guy's an emotional leader. This guy used to talk so much junk, play so hard and do so many stupid things. We used to tell him, hey, listen, hey, don't wake these guys up. If they want to sleep, let them sleep. This guy loves to hit. He's the type of guy that, typical from Detroit, hits anything that doesn't have GM stamped on it.
I've been in Detroit, and boy, you don't know how true that is. The AFC Central is becoming quite interesting. It's kind of Cleveland and everybody else at the moment, but there's going to be a chance for some shakeups there. Pittsburgh and Houston are playing tomorrow night on Monday Night Television and on the ball game, and then a week from 2 weeks from now, we'll have Cleveland in their next game going down to Houston. So there could be some things getting shaken in the AFC Central. A lot of these races turning out to be really interesting this year, the second year of free agency in the National Football League. We'll be right back.
Discover how 2 months' salary can last forever at K Jewelers, the Diamond People.
At Pep Boys, top-quality Niapco half shafts come with our lifetime warranty. At other places, you may only get 90 days. Let's see, lifetime or 90 days? Get a lifetime from just $99.99. Come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
From Eureka, backs so powerful they've earned the Corvette name. Corvette Handback with powered brush roll. New Corvette Wet Dry with high-performance 4-horsepower motor. Both great deals. The next generation from Eureka.
To TNT, he's the ultimate man. He is Charlton Heston. And Tuesday, we're celebrating his birthday when he gets dressed for adventure in Call of the Wild, dressed for action in The Savage, and dressed to kill in Major Dundee. TNT's putting on one heck of a Hest Fest, all day and all night Tuesday. And join us next week for the Stephanie Powers Birthday Bash on TNT.
And welcome back. If you're just joining us, there's absolutely no excuse. Miami over Cincinnati 23-7 as Don Shula beat Dave Shula by 16. We're only 5 weeks deep into the NFL season, and we've seen our first rematch. In Week 2, the Falcons hammered the Rams 31-13, a win Andre Rison guaranteed. Today they met again, this time in Anaheim, the Rams coming off that 16-0 shutout of the Chiefs and sparked by Chris Chandler starting in place of Chris Miller. But today, Chris Chandler went down with an ankle injury, and the Rams were without him. They had already lost, as I said, Miller, and so Tommy Maddox came on and couldn't move him into the end zone. The Rams in the end zone all over Jeff George. A 2-0 L.A. lead. Third period. Clarence Verdun, just picked up this week by the Falcons to shore up their special teams, takes the punt and sets sail 81 yards for what looks like the go-ahead touchdown. Nobody's near him. Just one little problem. Back there, deep in Falcon territory is the yellow flag, and Albert Shelley whistled for an illegal block in the back. Here is the anatomy of a concussion. Jeff George to throw. Fred Stokes right in his face, mashes the cage right back on him. Concussion for George. He's out. June Jones says, I got Bobby Hebert down here, and Hebert responds.
Bobby to pass. Look, fires over the middle. Touchdown to Ricky Sanders! Ricky Sanders with the touchdown! Falcons, with 3:14 to go, have the lead.
The only touchdown of the game as Atlanta goes to 3-2, an 8-5 winner over the LA Rams. Jerome Bettis had his 4th straight 100-yard day, but the Rams lose. Detroit and Tampa Bay at Tampa Stadium. Wayne Fonts, not a happy guy down at the big sombrero. In the first period, Vernon Turner makes history for the Tampa Bay Bucks. He's already doing the high step thing. You should have known something was up. He's going 80 yards with a punt. The first time that's ever happened. 19th season for the Tampa Bay Bucks, and they're up 10-0 over Detroit. Second period, it's 17-7 Bucks. Barry Sanders had 166 yards on the ground, 85 this trip. Most of that minus the right shoe that comes off right there, and he's going to keep going. 85 yards. He will not score, kind of losing some traction running on the sock. But it does set up a Lion touchdown by Derek Moore, cut the gap to 17-14. More Big Sam White special teams as Roderick Green burst through in the third period to block the Greg Montgomery punt. Tampa Bay Bucks are all over it. They set up an Eric Rett touchdown on a 24-14 lead. And Detroit just couldn't get it done. They were knocking on the door a lot. Brett Perryman, right down there inside the 5, and he loses the handle, and the Bucks jump on it. Tampa Bay is 2-3. Detroit is 2-3. They've lost 2 straight after winning that Monday night game at Dallas. Chris Spielman says, hey, man, no excuses.
The great thing about this game is now mystery. There's no magic potions. There's no secret speeches. There's no, you know, I have a dream speech or any of that BS. It's all about playing and executing. Either you do it or you don't. It's black and white, man. It's the great thing about football.
Great football bite to end the night. Let's talk about 100-yard rushers. And we saw in each of those last 2 games, Jerome Bettis going over 100 and Barry Sanders, and neither team winning. How much of a guarantee is a 100-yard game? In week 1, if you had one, your teams were 4-0. But then it's 2-2, 5-2, 4-2, 1-2. Overall, in 24 games, teams are 16-8 when they have a guy go 100 yards or better. And interestingly enough, there have also been 24 quarterbacks throw for 300+, and it's even less of a guarantee that you're going to win that game. 13-11 the record when a quarterback has a big day like Drew Bledsoe did today, but the Patriots did win. I'm out of stuff, man. That's week 5, and that's all she wrote, Bob.
I could see the motor kind of running down a little bit there, Ernie. We just understand that the Browns, in the last 5 years, Cleveland Browns have had only one 100-yard rusher in the last 5 years, Tommy Vardell. Just a little bit of inside the NFL note here. Let's take a look at who's hot and who's not. First of all, the hot man is Randall Cunningham in the NFL right now. He's the all-time career leading rusher as a quarterback, playing very well and throwing the ball. And here's a name. If you don't know it now, you're going to know it soon. Vincent Brisby, big day for New England. They've won 3 in a row. And in a year where field goals are sailing downward, 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 just like the league wanted, Kevin Butler did hit the first 50-yard field goal of the year in the NFL.
And here's Pennzoil's who's not. And Jim Kelly is not, as he had 2 interceptions again today, and he's done it 5 consecutive games. And it's Bad Mood Rising is now just bad. 4 receptions and 34 yards there. And Steve Young hit 9 times, which is not there by the Philadelphia defense. 11 for 23, 99 yards, 2 interceptions. He took a beating. And Lawrence, you know about beatings. That's a quacker.
Whack, whack, quacker. I think you're a little hard on Andre Rison. Most receivers who got 4 catches in a game have a pretty nice.
I wonder if he's still doing that little moon strut.
Maybe not tonight. The bad room will rise again, though. Just mark that down. We'll be back here to Riverfront Stadium to wrap it up in just a moment. Stay with us.
So my wife got her hair cut, and I didn't notice it was a micron shorter, so she said...
You never notice anything.
And I said I noticed that cheeseburgers at Burger King have 75% more beef than McDonald's. And she said, nice. You pay more attention to a burger than you do to me. Which wasn't fair. I mean, the burgers are bigger, flame broiled, so they taste good. And you can't help but notice they come with fries and a drink, all for just $1.89. So she said, maybe you should go live there.
Burger King. Get your burgers with...
Seattle, average rainfall 39 inches. Phoenix, average high 103 degrees. Minneapolis, average low 7. Every year, Anderson windows and patio doors stand up to the harshest sun, the coldest wind, the hardest rain. So much for the law of averages.
How will you know
right insurance company comes along? Will it be the one who claims to see the farthest? Will it be the one who says they have the edge? Or will it be the one with the knowledge you can depend on for mutual funds, annuities, life, health, and long-term care protection? Fortis, a $100 billion world leader providing solid answers for a changing world.
Get it all next weekend on TNT. Saturday, get up, and away. All night, the never-ending conquest to go farther, faster with TNT's 10-hour Reaching for the Skies Marathon beginning at 8 p.m. And Sunday, get together. A family double feature begins at 10 a.m. with Savannah Smiles. And Sunday night, get tough. The Redskins and the Eagles, followed by Burt Reynolds in the longest yard. Get it? Good stuff next weekend on TNT. Good!
The Stadium Show Postgame is brought to you by Peerless Faucet. Sensibly innovative faucet designs for your kitchen and bath. Get more out of your faucet than just water.
Finally, we've found some football weather. Getting a little chilly here in Cincinnati tonight, but it feels like real football. And LT's already starting to froth a little bit because we're back in the NFC East next week. Veterans Stadium, classic, old rivalry, Washington, Philadelphia.
Yeah, Veterans Stadium is the site of so many hard-hit ball games. You know, I've never seen a Washington Redskins Philadelphia game live. Even though there's debate whether or not Washington still has a pulse. I'm not sure if it's still alive. I've never seen that. I'm looking forward to it.
You defend Washington?
I think
Go ahead, just try.
I think he hit it on the head. I mean, Washington got blasted by Dallas today, and they run into a Philadelphia team now that went out to the West Coast and crushed the San Francisco 49ers, a co-favorite in the NFC for the Super Bowl. Washington with the rookie quarterback, and Philadelphia, again, we talked about it early, Bob, Rich Kotite. This is an incredible organization. They've put it together. They're starting to play well, and they have what amounts to be what looks like a week off against Washington because they seem to be having some problems, but you never know. That's a great rivalry.
And, of course, I'm looking forward to seeing Charlie Garner. He had 111 yards today, maybe a star in the making. Thanks for joining us at Riverfront Stadium tonight on a historical 75th anniversary NFL game. The first time ever, father versus son, Don Shula beating Dave 23-7. Next week, the Silver Bullet Stadium Show begins at 7:30 from Veterans Stadium in the city of brotherly love. And then Gary and Pat will have the play-by-play at 8 o'clock, Redskins and Eagles. Coming up next, Logan's Run. And yes, that is Farrah Fawcett in her screen debut. For Kevin, LT, and our entire TNT crew in Atlanta and here in Cincinnati, this is Bob Neal saying good night.
Sunday night, Philadelphia and Washington are close. On a map, Redskins, Eagles. Next Sunday night, kick it off with the Stadium Show at 7:30 on TNT. You'll never be alone, never be in pain, never grow old. Unless you run. Logan's Run, tonight on TNT.
Curlin's 48th anniversary celebration continues.
And we've got what Rockland County's looking for.
During the great tent sale going on this week only. Step right up to thousands of savings off of MSRP with the lowest prices on new 95s. You'll thrill to our lineup of all new model Cadillac, Oldsmobiles, and GMC models.
And check out the area's greatest selection of custom trucks and vans.
It's our 48th anniversary tent sale. Come on in!
Niles Floor Covering and Window Treatments has got you covered. If it's flooring you need to cover or windows you need to treat, Niles has got you covered. Wall-to-wall carpet, area rugs, ceramic tiles, no wax floors, remnants in many sizes, custom installation, window treatments. Since 1957, Niles has been family-owned and operated, and guess what? Niles Flooring and Window Treatments has got you covered. Niles Floor Covering and Window Treatments, Beach Shopping Center, Peekskill.
Get it all next weekend on TNT. Saturday, get up, and away. All night, the never-ending conquest to go farther, faster with TNT's 10-hour Reaching for the Skies Marathon beginning at 8 p.m. And Sunday, get together. A family double feature begins at 10 a.m. with Savannah Smiles. And Sunday night, get tough. The Redskins and the Eagles, followed by Burt Reynolds in the longest yard. Get it? Good stuff next weekend on TNT. Good!